Hello, everybody. I hope you've had a great week. It's good to be here with you all today. So, welcome to the next live stream for this Saturday. Last week, we finished up a little lesson unit on kind of like start to finish. How to kind of make a piece of music, beginning to make music is what the series was called. So if you haven't checked that out, and that sounds like something you might be interested in, go check it out. It should be on my YouTube page. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about harmony and harmonic progressions and chord progressions. I was talking with a great friend yesterday, and he thought that would be a good idea, and I agree with him. So basically, it's kind of like if you are writing some music and you're like, you don't know where to go, I guess, and your ears are not guiding you. There are some common progressions that you can use to help find your way, to help find your voice. That's a point that I wanted to mention, was that when we're doing this, when I'm doing music, one of the main things that I really enjoy about it is that it kind of shows me to me. And by that I mean it lets me, if I like something, God, where was I going with that? It lets me know what I like. It lets me know what sounds I like, what sounds I don't like, what sounds resonate with me, what sounds don't resonate with me. And I think that that's a cool part of the journey of music. And I would encourage everybody to kind of be open to that part of the journey and the possibilities of what music might do. And having these, I guess, to bring it back around, giving you some ideas for harmonies or directions that you may want to explore will help you find your voice and help you find out what resonates with you and what doesn't resonate with you. There's a great Charlie Parker quote where he said, "Learn it all and forget it all." And I think it's really, really important that we learn, internalize as much information as we possibly can, and then kind of let it take our brains out of the equation and just let whatever happens, because we will already have absorbed the information, and now it is almost up to a subconscious or a superconscious to determine what will come out. Another friend was just talking, or she left me a comment saying that, it's not about like, it's not about an aesthetic, it's about what just comes out. And so I think that what comes out naturally from you is your aesthetic, and they're not separated. It's you, when you're not trying to put on airs or deliberately push something in a direction, whatever comes out is what resonates with you. And so then I guess it's kind of like a cool reflection of you. It shows you to you. It's a good mirror. So let's see here, without any more talking about that. If you've checked out any of my stuff before, you know I am really, really big on the harmonic series. Really big on it. And just to give you a quick sense of how that sounds, we've got this low C down here. And the next frequency in the harmonic series would be expressed as the octave above that. The next frequency would be the fifth above that. And then the next frequency is the fourth above that. So right now we've got a C, a C, a G, and a C. Then the next frequency is going to be a major third, E. The next frequency is G. The next frequency is B flat. And then the 8th frequency is a C. So from this low C all the way up to this high C, we've got 4 Cs. And that's just kind of the space that I want to deal with in right now. Those tones. Obviously the octave is the most consonant that is not a unison tone. The next most consonant interval that is not a unison tone is our 5th. So 5ths are a great place for us to start whenever we're trying to create some motion. So right now I'm just going to play a C major triad, C, E, G. So I'm going to now, to add some motion to this, I'm going to play from the C major triad to the G major triad, back to the C major triad. And I hope that that was clear why I went to the G major triad, because G is the first interval to appear that is the most consonant within our harmonic series. I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm not really sure how to say that another way. So it's basically what I'm doing now is pretending like this C is its own harmonic series, and so I've got a C, E, G, so just a C major triad, and now within the C harmonic series, the G is going to be our next most consonant note. So I'm going to pretend like, you know what, let's make this G a whole new harmonic series so we can have a G major triad. So just this C to G back to C is a great place to start for chord progressions. You've heard that countless times in your lives. This is not a super compelling way to play the chord progression, because I'm just playing 1, 3, 5, C, E, G, taking that figure and playing 1, 3, 5, G, B, D, and then moving it back down. It's basically just keeping my hand locked in the same position. And like I said, that's not as compelling as it could be. So let's do something called inversions. And inversion is where you just displace the order of the notes. So if I have, for example, C, E, G, an inversion of that could be E, G, C. So it's a similar sound, but it's different. They're very related, but they are also very different. Versus another inversion would be G, C, E. So that's a very similar sound, but it's also very different. And so when we're coming up with our harmonies and our chord progressions, how we call it voicing, how we voice the notes is very influential in how we perceive the music to sound. So like I was saying, if we got this C major triad right here, C, E, G, and then I'm going, let's go up to the 5 chord, G, B, D, and then back to the 1 chord. Let me see if I can invert this 5 chord to make it sound better. Better was the wrong word. Smoother is the word I was looking for. So what I'm doing right now is C, E, G to D, G, B. And it sounds smoother because what's happening is the C is moving to the D, the E is moving up to the G, and the G is moving up to the B. To our ears, that's what's happening. Again, C, E, G, C, E, G turns into D, G, B. Which to me, that sounds smoother than this. Those big jumps, they are not as unless we're going to use those for a specific purpose. They're not as man, I don't know how to say this correctly. The little jumps are very compelling to us because it's easy. A lot of melodies are based on small intervals, a half step or a whole step. For example, the C to the D is a whole step, all right? As opposed to that melody is not as compelling because it's in different registers. So keeping the intervals between notes smaller is compelling. It's familiar, and we like things that are familiar. We want them to be a little different, but we also want them to be a little familiar, so we know what the heck's going on. So where were we at? C, E, G, and then D, G, B. Let's find another inversion for this 5 chord. And everybody knows that when I'm saying the 5 chord, I mean the G triad. This is the 1 chord, this is the 5 chord. So let's see here, what else we got? Now that is very smooth. Very smooth. And it sounds very smooth because what's happening is we've got C, E, G, and then we go down to B, D, G. Hello, Maria. So when we're playing this, the G is staying the same, and the C, this bottom note, is just moving a half step down to the B. Hear that? Hear how closely related this C is to this B? Our ears like that. And then I'm gonna add the E, just play the E and the G. So this E goes down to a D. Or I'll just play the C and the E together. And now the B and the D. Okay, cool. I hope that makes sense. And you can just continue that pattern of 1 to 5, but changing the inversion. All up and down the keyboard. I went down just now, now I'll go up. All right, I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. So in another video, I also talked about the cycle of fifths or the circle of fifths. So that's basically, instead of going, that's basically just rotating. Wow, they're doing a lot of work on the building next door. That's rotating in a circle around, just going 1 to 5, and then the 5 becomes the new 1, and then we go to another 5, and that 5 becomes the 1, and then we go to another 5. So for example, C to G. Now G becomes the new 1, and we find the 5 of G, which is going to be D. Now D becomes the new 1, and the 5 of D is going to be A. The last beginning to make music was based on this chord progression. Let's keep going, where A becomes the new 1, and the new 5 is E, and now E becomes 1, and the 5 is B. Whoop. Out of practice. E is the new 1 and the 5 is B. And now B is the new 1 and the 5 is F sharp. And F sharp is the new 1 and the 5 is going to be D sharp. And D sharp is the new 1, so the new 5 is going to be G sharp. And G sharp is the new 1, so the new 5 is going to be D sharp. And D sharp is the new 1, so the new 5 is going to be A sharp. A sharp is the new 1, so the new 5 is going to be F. And wait for it, F is the new 1, so the 5 is going to be C. And we're back home. We went through all 12 quote-unquote keys on the keyboard just by doing that. So that's a long progression. There's probably not too many pop songs that use that circle through that complete the circle. But just being aware that 5 can always become 1 and that you can go to a new 5 based on that new 1 is going to open up pathways that you can explore, paths that you can explore and go down. Let's see if there's anything else for today. I think that may be cool. Oh, you know what? We can also talk about this right quick. These were major triads. You can also do the same thing with minor triads. So I hope that that makes sense. And then obviously you can mix and match them because why not? So you got a C major, got a minor 5. That sounds good to me. That does not. Go minor to major. Or, you know, whatever you want to do. Minor to major, to major, to minor, to minor, to major, to major. Why not? Whatever you want to do. I'm a big fan of just trying ideas out and kind of, like I said, try them out, learn them, and they will open up doors for you to let you know what you like or what you don't like, and then you can just go from there and kind of build up your own individual voice from there. So I know that wasn't like super deep in terms of crazy harmonic progressions, but hopefully that is like a good kind of starting point. I think the coolest thing is that if you think of the 1 to the 5 and then just turn this into the new 1. Now we're in the key of G. Okay, so how's this gonna sound? So for a G major, down to a minor 5, which is D minor. And then let's go back to C major. And already you're starting to get yourself little chord progressions. C major, is that what I don't remember. C major to G major. And now let's go to a minor 5 of G major. And now back to C major. So hopefully just like being able to understand that 5s turn into 1 and you can play the new 5 of that 1 will open up doors for y'all. So I hope that was kind of helpful. If anybody wants to hit me up, do some one-on-one, I would love to help you out. Just reach out to me here or on my website, nathangoheen.com. We can talk a little bit about what you want to do and get started. I offer a money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy with the service, I will give you your money back, no problem. So hit me up. What do you got to lose? I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. I'll be back here next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it.